So of course fairies in general, they are nature spirits. Fairies are elementals, and before I get any further, I have to tell you that one of my fairy epiphanies happened when I first time saw Disney's Fantasia when I was, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something, and there's the Nutcracker scene, and that has made huge impact on my artistic life. So if you hadn't seen that and you like snow fairies, you had to check that out. So snow fairies, they are elementals and they represent winter, frost and ice, coldness, and especially icy roads and stuff. They can be very harmful. So I'm from Finland and people they are pretty much used to it and always know how to prepare themselves, unlike here for example. So snow fairies, they also represent element of danger within them, and we have to acknowledge the fact that snow fairies, they live in different dimension to us people. Well, it's the same with all fairies really. So we know that the world of the snow fairies, it is separate from us, so we cannot never be entirely part of their world because they only live in this one season. And according to folklore from many different parts of the world, elementals are the ones who create the seasons. So we have spring fairies making flowers grow, we have summer fairies making world green, we have autumn fairies who paint the leaves to be colorful, then we have winter fairies who create everything to be frosty and white and beautiful, sparkly, shimmering, magical. And of course fairies, snow fairies especially, are connected to snowflakes. Each snowflake is unique. It is just magic. So the snow fairies, they do possess this element of danger and unknown, but they are also fairies that represent comfort and rest and peace, all the things that are represented in the nature that is falling into under a snowy blanket. So snow fairies, they are also protectors. They protect nature. They allow it to rest for a few months or longer time. Finland. So snow fairies, they represent rebirth, and therefore they also represent dying nature and birth of nature. And this goes all the way down to the fairy tale origins of the Snow Queen fairy tale, and also some fairy tales from Brothers Grimm. But let's start with the Snow Queen. So I'm sure many of you know the Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale about the Snow Queen, about the two children, boy and a girl, who were like almost like brother and sister because they were very close. And the Snow Queen took the boy and the girl went on a long journey to find him back, and she got him back. And the Snow Queen in this story is not really an evil character, but more of a someone who we should feel pity because she's very lonely and she kidnaps the boy to her winter kingdom. So that's Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale. And then we have a story about Frau Holle. And Frau Holle is believed to be a character or a goddess whose character the Snow Queen is based, or one of the characters, because these ideas of goddesses connected to winter, you can find them from many different countries. You can find them from Scotland, from Finland, from Russia, from Germany, from Sweden, from Norway, and so on. So Frau Holle, she is a Germanic folklore figure, and Brothers Grimm, they wrote a fairy tale about her in 19th century that has lots of Christian elements, so we have to be very careful when we interpret that fairy tale. And in this particular fairy tale, there is a girl who has an evil stepmother and an evil stepsister, classical fairy tale, and she's doing a spinning the spinning wheel, and she hurts her finger into the spindle, and blood starts to flow, and she goes to wash the spindle, and she drops the spindle into the well, and because she's afraid that the stepmother is going to beat her up, because of that she dives into the well to find the spindle, and the well is magical and takes her into a magical dimension where she is in a beautiful meadow, There she meets Frau Holle, who in the story is described to be an old hag, because that's what they did for the many goddesses, Brothers Grimm. They turned them into old hags. So the girl, she becomes the servant of Frau Holle, and in the fairy tale, when the girl shakes her mattresses, she creates snowstorms and snow starts to fall to the earth. So in the end of the fairy tale, she returns to her home, and the Frau Holle, she gives her gold and stuff, and she lives happily ever after. Okay, that's the Brothers Grimm fairy tale, but Frau Holle itself is an actual Germanic goddess who was worshipped in the pagan times by different Germanic tribes. And according to the legend, she was connected to Yule and to winter solstice, and she was prayed by women because she was protector of women and she was protector of children. She was also goddess of magic, and it makes sense because many goddesses who are connected to winter and autumn time, they are also seen as the crown goddesses. They possess the crown wisdom and the knowledge of the world, knowledge of life. Frau Holle is based on even more older folklore figure, that is Hulda, goddess Hulda or Hulda, the name varies, and she is a Scandinavian / Norse goddess, and worship of Hulda is really ancient. It predates the birth of Norse pantheon, so it's really, she's a primordial goddess. She was worshipped according to some sources already in Mesopaleolithic times, so she really represents the earliest form of mother cult, mother goddess cult in Scandinavia, and I found stories about Hulda really interesting and rather shamanistic. So Hulda was a goddess similar to Frau Holle, protector of children and goddess of magic. Hulda was goddess of winter, goddess of darkness, and she was many times depicted to be an old woman. So this is something very common when it comes to these wintry goddesses. And Hulda, her origins are believed to be celestial. So for me, when I heard this myth for the first time, it reminded me of the story of Louhi from Finnish mythology, who is goddess of the underworld. But before that, before she was demonized, because she's another crown goddess who is extremely powerful goddess of shamanism, magic and witchcraft, she was goddess of the moon, and her name, it's derived from many different words, and probably some of the most close reasons why her name is Louhi or Loviatar is that Lovi is Old Finnish and means vagina, and she's connected to female powers and female magic, and it is believed that Louhi's origins are in the moon, and even older than that, in the star skies and in northern lights, because she is the goddess who rules the star skies. She is another celestial goddess. So Hulda have similar origins, goddess of the moon perhaps, and goddess of the celestial constellation stars, stardust. She's the goddess of stardust, goddess of beauty in the night sky. And there is these beliefs from Northern Europe across, no matter what language these people spoke, because they spoke many different languages, is that at some point people believed that underworld was not a literal place somewhere underground, but spirits of the dead, they lived in the stars and in the star skies. So Hulda and Louhi, they are both connected to this idea of our spirits living in the night sky. It's beautiful. And Hulda, as being the protector of women and children, there are things that are very connected to her, like spinning. And spinning is another thing that is connected to goddesses of fate. And of course, being goddess of death, she is also goddess of life. And this is very essential idea in all goddesses that are related to winter. This idea of nature dying is that they hold a seed inside them, and this literally is representation of snow covering the earth, and the earth represents the seed which blooms in the spring. So all these winter goddesses, they are keeper of the seeds. And it's the same with the snow fairies. They are keeper of the seeds because they create winter. So they are all connected to rebirth in nature and rebirth in animals, rebirth in us humans. And it's a beautiful way to understand it. And this actually has connections to Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale, because there we have the woman who, in my eyes, or in my understanding of the fairy tale, does not have ability to have children. That's why she kidnaps the boy and wants the boy to love her. But that doesn't happen because love needs to be unconditional, and she wants to charm the boy to love her, and it doesn't work that way, of course. So these are the origins of the Snow Queen fairy tale and some stories about the snow fairies and winter goddesses. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe to my channel if you want to learn more about fairies or goddesses and stuff like that. Take care and bye bye.